Welcome back to Market Mastery, the 1 hour you need to make money in this market. And we have something for you today. Just to give you a taste, we're going to cover your favorite SPY options trades. You'll be making money on both bull and bear price action. We are going to talk about a few stocks that have been explosive that we have made some great money on. A few of those names being Palantir, Tesla, Alibaba. We're going to update you on that price action and what our expectations are. Then we have a little special for you. TMDX reported earnings, and my man Shay is going to break down a little bit about what that means and tell you where you can get the full readout. And then we're going to talk about Tesla earnings and then finish with a little bit of smash or pass, where you submit your tickers, you drop them in the chat, and we give you our quick 30-second look. Are we buying or are we selling? So that you guys know exactly what we're looking at in the market. It's your access to us to get an instant answer on the stock that you might have been watching for years. So let's get fired up here. We've got a very, very, very sideways chart here on the S&P. We are talking SPY options. We are going to give you both the bull and bear trade. You are going to be set up for success, whether we trade up or trade down. Right now, I would say that looking at this chart firsthand is that we do have a little bit of consolidation, a little sideways here. We are pretty range bound, as you can see, highlighted by these levels. This blue line is our long-term trend pivot, meaning it always seems to go bullish above this line and bearish below this line. This line dates back to October of last year, so we have enough price data to assume that it is being truthful in what it's showing us. So to go back to late October, key support touch here, boom to the upside. We traded up with a high at, what was that, about 586. Topping out. And keep in mind, a year ago, we told you SPY was going to 560 by this, or 530 by the summer. We hit that even earlier. We talked if it hits 530, we were going to see 560 plus. It hit. Now we're going to give you what's next. So we have our 15-minute chart up here. Remember, these trades are only valid if we receive confirmation of these trades, meaning a 15-minute candle closes above in the bullish case or below in the bearish case to validate that the trade is good. So I'm going to be pulling this up for you here in just a second. You can see that we've got our SPY chart up and we are trading right at around 580 and change. As you can see, this is our trend pivot and we are really playing with fire here, trading above and below it, going back and forth. We wanted to see this point of confluence get hit at 580 back at the end of October, but we also want to see us gear towards 583 plus as we open up into November. That would tell us that we're on track with our expectations as far as price action goes. Shay, before I get into this, any thoughts on the market this week and what we're seeing? I know there's a massive week for earnings coming up here with Amazon, Google, and some of the big boys reporting. So I know that this is going to be a pretty tumultuous week either way. But any quick thoughts before I go into these trades?
Yeah, so the 10-year bond, 10-year yield is just continuing to going up and up. So clearly there's a disconnect stock market and what the bond market's showing us. Like bond market's indicating the inflation might pick back up early part of next year, and they're not so confident on the soft landing narrative. Market doesn't care because market's fixated on earnings because this week is the biggest earnings week of this Q3 cycle. Tomorrow starts with Google and AMD, Wednesday Microsoft and Meta, Thursday Amazon and Apple. So today I wasn't caught off guard, but like I didn't expect too much of a move because why get ahead of a massive amount of catalysts just stacking up for the next couple of days? So I will say tomorrow, I don't think, and also combine that with no Fed commentary until after election. So clearly it's market's being very short-sighted right now. It's all about earnings this week and what the election will be Monday or Tuesday of next week. I forgot which day, but next week is just gonna be earnings and election. And after that, I think once the main earnings season behind us for the majority of the big tech players, election noise is behind us. It's going to be purely about what the Fed are going to do for rate cuts and hopefully just celebrating the earnings dominance that we got this week. Because so far the past 2 weeks, great earnings across the board for a lot of the bigger players. So let's see if we can repeat that performance this week. And yeah, SPY is just like hanging out there waiting to either just like blow off top or pull back to that 21 EMA on the weekly chart. Right now, it's just on pause mode. So I'm not surprised to see it just feel really stuck. Like in this range right now, you see it's just kind of stuck and tight. and it's about to really take off, in my opinion, if earnings can back up the justification.
I couldn't agree more. I think that right now we really just have to see how this pays off over the next week, because I think these earnings are going to set the pace for everyone going forward. So let's get into it. The bull versus bear pick. I'm going to pull up the SPY options chain here because we have the price action up on the chart. We have really two outcomes that we're going to see here. Either we hold support and we retest 583, or we lose support. And I think we're going to test as low as 576 with the potential of going to 574. So the downside trade does offer more profit potential at this moment. But keep in mind, if all earnings print positively, it's going to head the other way. So what I'm looking at here is a little different than what we usually do. I want to put together a trade for you guys that offers max opportunity and also can provide a hedge for those that are holding a lot of tech like I am. So since I'm already weighted in that direction, I am right now looking at the let's see, I like 577, 578 puts for the downside trade. So should we break below this 581 level and we get that confirmation, we should head downwards. In that case, I do like, this 577 puts for 11.6. It's a little shorter term expiration than I usually like, but I think the downside volatility could be huge. IV is already a little inflated here because of earnings, but I do think that this is the trade that we could see a 2 to 3x on. Keep in mind, I am hedging a tech-centric portfolio. That being said, if this goes to loses money or goes to zero, I'm not upset because I will be overall green. So it doesn't function the same way as a hedge would as a short, but it does work for those of you that aren't as familiar with short options or short trades in general. So the 577 puts would be the downside trade. Again, we break down below this level and we hit here, hitting that resistance. We could even hit here, 581. But again, once we get that confirmation below, we know that this is likely going to sell off and mimic the price action that we've seen in the last couple sell-offs with the potential gap down to 578. If we go lower, those 577 puts will pay handsomely down to our clear support at 574.73. So I just want everyone to keep that at the top of their mind. That's our bearish trade. Now, our bullish trade, I think, is going to be follow that same line of thinking, but a little bit differently. I want to see confirmation above 581, but I also need to see a break above this trend line. We cannot be trading below this pivot point if we expect to see upside. I will also be adjusting my upside target to this level right here, which is about 584 and change. So that being said, I would like to go somewhat near the money on this. If we stay on that November 6th expiration and we look at, say, 582, that puts 600 a contract, 18% implied volatility. So the 582 calls for November 6th, you could buy the 582 and sell the 584 to create a spread for about $100. So keep that in mind. If you don't know how to do that, check that link at the bottom. We show you how to do that all the time. We have a little course we built out to teach you how to do options spreads, options trading in general. You can get that from the link at the bottom. Make sure you check that out. But I like those 582 calls because we'll get delta acceleration. If earnings are good, this thing's going to rip. I think if earnings are mild and we see downside, I think we're going to see like 574. I don't think we're going to sell off completely. But I do think that on a good earnings print, we're going to go back into price discovery mode, which keep in mind, when you get a blue sky breakout, meaning new all-time highs, it can run. So I want to be priced in there with a nice in-the-money contract. So we're going to look at those 582 calls on the breakout and confirmation above this pivot right here. If we don't get that confirmation, I'm not taking the trade. I will be updating these trades frequently and sometimes live trading them in the Discord. Again, the link's at the bottom. If you want to trade them live, that's how you do it. It's my best suggestion to you because we often update the entries and everything else in case you're a little unsure. I will also publish this chart to TradingView. You could find it under the name PB Alerts, I believe, or Penny Boys. I'm not sure, one of those two. But again, I'll be posting that link in the Discord so that everybody can see it. That's what I'm thinking for the SPY, dude. I think that's pretty clean. So let's keep it moving. Quick updates as always. We have one trade that is absolutely paying in spades, stupidly right now. This trade did cross over 2,000% for me on the options chain. It looks like it's following our levels to the T. Let me go to the hourly here. Look at how it's following these levels. It's just walking. We had that is mapped out for a year, guys. So perfect engagement with 45.5. Price action can't sustain this valuation without a significant report and increase in revenue. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. It has to be growing 30%. It has. There's no more like, oh, be nice for revenue acceleration. It needs to be above 30%. And why is that? It's because there is comps out there that have a very similar revenue fundamental profile that's trading nearly 60% less of what Palantir is. But the only difference is Palantir has proven they will be a survivor in the post-AI world. Not just a survivor, a thriver, like a winner, a clear winner and leader. And the market is assigning a premium valuation on that. If there's any signs of not a slowdown, but the velocity isn't as aggressive as a lot of people anticipate, because that Q1 to Q2, boy, I caught everyone off guard of like, it's happening, and it's happening aggressively. If it doesn't have the same kind of beat and reacceleration, which the only way it can is if it goes above 30%, it might consolidate. I really don't. The days of Palantir in the 20s is forever over. Forever. Yeah. I'm saying if it's 15% correction next 2 months, I would be totally okay with that. And I think it makes sense. Like, it needs the fundamentals need to catch up to the stock price. That's end of the day. That's exactly what it is. If it is stuck in mud or pulls back 15%, it isn't because its thesis breaking. It's just the fundamentals. Stock price is up here. Fundamentals are slowly catching up. And quarter after quarter, Palantir is going to prove why they are the enterprise AI winner. And it will continue going up. But in the short term, like next 3 months, it's trading at 100 times 2025 free cash flow. Like, I don't know what kind of earnings they need to provide for it to hit 50. It has to be like a 30% top line growth, Rule of 40 score of 60 plus, in my opinion, for it to like really push to that 50 level. And again, it could get there, but again, I'm a 5+ year investor. I could care less what it's going to do next couple months. But wearing my short-term trader hat on, I think it needs to really wow people. But it could, like NVIDIA 6 quarters ago, people were like, no way NVIDIA can top the previous quarter. They did it 6 times in a row. So could Palantir be a similar type of defying expectations? Yeah, different businesses. So it's a lot harder for Palantir than it was for NVIDIA. But yeah, that's definitely a possibility. And I hope so, because seeing Palantir at a 50 handle would be pretty dope to see.
100%. And I just want to call to the fact that we are buying here, low sevens. When we were trading at like 17, 18 bucks, we were telling you that target, that long-term target is 30 and then 45. Look at how it's just, dude, look at that stair-stepping beauty. So if you don't have that kind of alpha, you need to continue to watch the stream. Make sure you join the Discord, get in there and talk with us and just have access to the streams. And that's it. And that's all. I mean, we've crushed this one. So a quick price action update on Alibaba, and then we will break down those TMDX earnings, which I know a lot of you are here to figure out what is Mr. TMDX going to do. I'm as excited as you are. And he will break down why he's actually buying more. So you'll figure that out. So Alibaba, I don't like this rejection here, 119. I really wanted to see continuation there. The monthly is not as beautiful and juicy as the daily. We did make our attempt again to break that. We did not hold, but volume is up, which is a very positive thing. We do have that headwind, though, of the Chinese markets cooling off. I don't love that we've tested this level a few times and not held. That does not give me a lot of confidence, but we also got this little cup and handle situation forming here. So I'm going to let that play out before I make any decisions regarding that Alibaba trade. Keep in mind, the trade alert I gave in the Discord is up over 230%, give or take. So we have made stupid money on this already. We were talking continuation. We were buying shares of this at 70 bucks. They almost doubled. So we are talking continuation here. I'm not entering this trade. If you want to get the next early entry, again, make sure you join up and you get access so that you can. But for the meantime, I don't think that we're going to see much upside until something shifts in the Chinese markets and we get some sort of bullish tailwind to push it. I don't think that narrative is going to be there. But That's what I'm looking for. Significant break over 118, 119, give or take, on volume, and I think we'll be cooking. Do you have any quick thoughts on this one before we move to TMDX?
It's hurting because of Trump winning the election. Once the election is behind us, I think the election will be minimal on the China theme. It's going to be how much more can the government infuse into their economy, and then it could take off again. But this is just a vehicle to kind of capture geopolitical tensions or whatever the China government does. It's less about the business, unfortunately. Alibaba is an incredible business, but it's being used as a vehicle to capture alpha on a specific thematic, which is Trump good, China stocks bad. Government putting cash in China's economy, China stocks good. That's literally all it is. So you can use BABA, PDD, JD.com. Like they're all paired up with each other in that thematic kind of investing. That's unfortunate because Alibaba is an incredible company. It really is. It's just being lumped into that specific vehicle of investing.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. So, all right, let's get into it. What's up, Mr. Cade Bergman? How you living, baby? How you living? If you don't know Cade, he's the man. Let me pop his Twitter handle real. It's at Cade Bergman, CADEBERGMANN. Go give that man a follow, dude. He's out here just getting it all day, every day, looking jacked and handsome as ever. Good friend and partner over at Wolf. Check him out. His Twitter account's fire. So yeah, we'll get into those in just a minute. We're gonna definitely talk Robinhood, definitely talk coin. Drop your tickers in the chat if you have them. We will cover the independent tickers. It's easier if I have the list now. But right now, we're gonna give you what you came for. Let's talk TMDX.
So what happened with TMDX?
TMDX earnings.
All right. Before we start, do you guys see my demeanor? Do you guys see how I'm talking about it? Like TMDX is a top 5 position for me. Entering this print, it was 8% of my portfolio. Do you see me angry? Do you see me like pounding the table, like pissed off? No. What did I do? I read the numbers. I came up with my validated to see if my thesis is still intact. Why did they miss? Everything checked off. I had 190 shares entering this print. I'm at 225 now. Boom, at $88. I didn't even look what it is at right now. It's at $94. So I think this is total overreaction. Nothing about that print was thesis breaking. Everything was due to what it like they're a small cap building a network effect mode, which is exactly what Transmax is doing on acquiring the aviation company and building out the fleets. That's gonna have some hiccups along the way because they're still a $3 billion company. It's very rare to have a company worth less than $5 billion have some kind of a network effect mode. It's actually unheard of. Amazon didn't get at that valuation. When Amazon got the network effect mode owning the domestic e-commerce, they were significantly higher. Same thing with Mercado Libre. Like it's really difficult, but Transmax is doing that right now. So the reason they miss is gross margin pressures. They built out their fleet from 15 to 18 quarter after quarter. So they added 3 more fleets. They also had some margin issues on, they had to use third-party fleet services because some of their planes were going through maintenance issues. Again, that's a very one-time cost. I think the whole market is overreacting because it's the first negative sequential growth in their revenue. First time in their company history. Maybe not company history, but first time in the past couple of years. I don't know. I want to speak too early before that. So I think people are like, oh, is this the top? Is this Celsius? Like, I think Celsius is on a lot of people's mind, which is ridiculous because consumer goods product literally owes organ transplant services. It's totally different, but people are lumping them up because there's a lot of similar investors who invested in both growth stories, and they witnessed Celsius at $100 nearly, and now it's at $30 within a year. And all of a sudden, the revenue just got deaccelerated, gross margin pressures. So they're worried, oh, is this the next Celsius? It's not. Just hear what the CEO said on the call. Everything was not due to competition. The margin miss wasn't due to competition miss. The earnings miss wasn't due to some dynamic in the environment. It's purely because they had so much demand and their current fleet was going through maintenance. They had to outsource their fleets, which costs again, unrealized expenses that they couldn't predict because it's the name of the game for their business model, and that hurt their earnings. And that combined with like there is some seasonality in their business model. I know like they forecasted for it, but this is typically not the busiest time for their business. And commentary from the management is like they're maintain their full year guide. This is short term due to expenses on third party fleets. They maintain their 2028 long term guide of 10,000 transplants, which essentially will be 1 to 1.2 billion in revenue. They had 11% net income margins entering this print. They're still growing the top line 80% this year. Nothing about that's changed, but people are seeing the sequential decline and freaking out, knowing that they want to hold the bag on top. I can care less.
I'm optimistic that you didn't see it, so I pulled up a short sale volume right next to it. I'm glad you didn't see, because if that would have escalated, I would say that somebody knows something we don't. This sounds more like things just being digested, and we're in that first stage of like gut check reaction, and then we move into more of a due diligence period, and then the smart people will then respond rather than react. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right. It's just people act a different way on a small cap stock than like what they normally would in a big tech stock. Like, because it's worth less than $3 billion, there's a lot of shitcodes out there that can fool investors. Like everything's good, and then the first sign of like temporary pause, even if it's something completely like not thesis breaking, it's actually validating that they're expanding their network effect by building out their fleet. All the expenses recognized in doing that is hurting them just for this past 3 months. It's just so short-sighted. It's small cap investors, not I won't lump them all, but if you're investing in small caps, you'd be surprised how short-sighted some of the people are, where theoretically, if they're a smaller company, you have to give them a long leash, a long runway, because you want that multi-bagger, turn the 3 billion to 20 billion. However, like a lot of the investors who own small caps, they're very short-sighted, but in Amazon, they're not. Not Amazon, like a Microsoft or what's another overvalued name that's like, regardless, there's a lot of 100 billion plus companies who are way overvalued, and people are willing to give them a long leash and long runway, even though there's a strong chance they're at that maturation stage where this premium valuation they're getting might be peaked. It might go down because it's a lot more difficult to keep growing at a hyperscaler pace when the revenue base is expanding the way it is. Where Transmedics, I don't know what they just came in at 120 mil. 115 mil was the guide, 120 next quarter, and it continues sequentially. They're growing 30% quarter after quarter. Like, what else do you want for next year? That's what they're doing. Like, that's incredible. So like when it dipped to $87, $88, I added a ton more, and I'm going to probably continue. Like, this now moved to the top of my DCA list. I love it. I'm happy. Like, I wanted a 10 to 12% position, and I'm willing to kind of suck it up. But again, there's a lot more details that I'm not sharing because I need to dig in more, because I hopped in the stream right after their earnings. I'm not listening to the call in depth. So I'll probably be able to add more context. I will get a lot more detail this Saturday in the coaching session on this weekly Zoom call. So just like how this is, we're going to do a tight-knit group where
that's going to be fire.
Like exactly what Austin's doing right now. That's going to be a lot of the members where you just ask me what I think about something. And Q&A, it's like really, it's called Shay's Inner Circle, but really it's an office hours. But it's just more of a dialogue. I can tell you what I think, my reactions to certain news. I'm going to get a lot more detailed once I get a chance to listen to a conference call, hear how the CEO's commentary, answering the questions, and what specific details he's saying about the margin miss, because this was a massive miss across the board on margins. 100% agree. But from what I'm reading, like 10,000 foot view, it's short-lived. It's just temporary growth pains. Every
trade coming out of it. There's definitely a trade coming out of it.
Exactly. There could be a trade, or like this could be your opportunity to finally build a position. But again, like, I wouldn't recommend that. Like, I'll get a lot more detail this Saturday, because every weekly Zoom session, the first one's this Saturday, we'll get into it. But like, I'm excited, and hopefully when I listen to the call, I get
Well,
even more excited.
it's not
but-
just you. I just got 2 DMs. So, guys, if you want to get in that group, just DM Shy or DM us, I guess, over at our account. Just shoot a DM. That's how the best way to get the info and help you understand what is going on. To get in there before Saturday, obviously, because that's when we're firing up. So, shoot a DM over to Shy or to the Penny Boys account, and we will get you that info ASAP. 2, 3. So there's a third one. So yeah, people are interested. Cool. Right on. So for TMDX, if you guys are watching this one, I know it's a big name for him. Again, shoot that DM over to get access to the inner circle so that you can get the full readout on Saturday, along with the trade idea and the plan going forward on exactly how this trade's going to make you rich, because I think it will. Any final thoughts on TMDX you want to talk about, or are you just going to roll out the rest on Saturday?
I don't want to give in too much, but I also on Saturday, I'm going to go over all the earnings of this week, essentially. So it's not just TMDX would be bulk of it, but I'm going to go over Amazon. I think Intel is really interesting. Over the weekend, I was digging into Intel. I found a really interesting angle that I think, holy shit, because my experience is corporate strategy for Fortune 500 companies. If I was working on Intel, this is exactly how I would pitch it. And I was like, I had a thought to my head. It's like, should I email IR to set up a meeting with them to like hand plate? This is exactly what they should do. Because I thought it was like, holy moly, like, this is kind of would be a game changer on stock valuation for that name. So I will also be talking more about that on Saturday, because I'm actually I'm like really excited about this thesis I came up with, but I don't trust the management that much. So that's why I'm like not being so aggressive. But who knows? Maybe I won't reveal too much, but that's the type of stuff like I do have a lot of Q&A and talk to you guys about on Saturdays. But yeah, so that's all TMDX. We'll dig into more, but IONQ 18 handle today.
Quick update, dude. Quick update. That's what I was just gonna do. So hit them. Tell them where you bought it. Tell them where it's at.
I bought it at a little under $6 is when I bought it, because clearly you saw that basing. First off, I've been repeating. The next frontier after AI, there's going to be 2 of them: space economy, quantum computing. The next frontier after AI. What names have been running the past 3 or 4 months? I've been saying this since Q1 of this year, or beginning of this year. RKLB is past $11. We were adding at $4, like been basing. IONQ, $6, taking a triple in a matter of months. Once the macro is improving, there's liquidity back in the market, the Fed is on our side. I was like, people's perspective will change on not betting, but taking a risk on these early secular growth theme winners that have really interesting tech or big market share, but years out from any profitability. I think that's going to be where the appetite will be had when the Fed cut rates. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. And you're seeing IONQ just like,
Boomtown, dude. Boomtown. Shout out Alejandro. Quick question, Alejandro. Did you tell me you got that alpha watching this stream or following his Twitter? Because I think it sounds like it, which would be awesome. This has been an absolute boomstick, dude. Look at that. On volume, too, which is like you can't beat that. So, again, you want picks like this, baby, you know where to get them. We've been laying them out for you. So let's get into it now. We're up about 200 something percent on the Tesla earnings trade that we popped in the Discord, the options trade. Earnings for Tesla was attractive. It was appetizing. It was delicious. It was ordering your favorite meal and finding out that it's actually even better at a new restaurant you've never been to before. You already knew you loved it, but now, or you already knew you liked it. Now you love it. So, the only concern I have is we still haven't breached and held above 267. So again, this is the monthly chart. Keep that in mind. That's what Stocks Buddy said. Stocks Buddy was a bear. It was a bull at 200. We were buying this at 140. So suck it, Stocks Buddy. We beat you for the first time. Very proud of that, because this indicator is too damn good. These algos are just too good. We can see that this thing has been on a tear. My chief concern is not holding 266 and change. That's really the key here for the range they're in right now. What are you seeing as literally the earnings translator, which we should coin that as the earnings translator? What are you seeing here? Because I can give the price action all day, but you're the earnings translator.
Yeah, so Tesla had an inflection earnings, and that's why you saw the velocity of their move. Their business, I don't know what happened. Their automotive gross margins hit some kind of inflection point where it just I forgot how many analysts cover this name. Even those bullish analysts' estimates for gross margin wasn't enough for what they actually came in as. So something's working where maybe they're not finally at scale, but they're at scale and like their gross margin is just incrementally picking up. And this is at a time where Elon said next year we anticipate 25% growth in their automotive business. That at the same time as their gross margin is just like incrementally increasing is like whoa. So that was like margins expanding is beautiful like noise to it's just great to hear because past 2 years have been tough. Like the way they've been battling this tough macro is reducing the price, margin deterioration, new tone now. So right after that earnings, I did mention to the subscribers, you're going to hear a different tone on the next couple of weeks on analyst notes because the majority of analysts put this as a hold. I put this as a hold because I'm bullish on the AI and software vision of Tesla, but we're not seeing any real proof in it yet. And valuation is really up there, and EV business is just turning the corner. So like, I wasn't as aggressive to add Tesla at 220. So essentially, what that means is a hold. However, if automotive businesses gross margins are picking back up, their energy storage business hit a 30% gross margin. I didn't think that was possible. I really didn't. And I know a lot of people I talked to didn't as well, but that's what happened. So that combined with the automotive gross margins, that's going to create a massive EPSB. And then you add, they had $300 million in FSD revenue coming in last quarter. Let that sit in because I'm saying
Unbelievable.
they have an 18 or 19% gross margin as a business. They brought in $300 million in revenue at a 90% gross margin. That is a difference maker on any DCF modeling. If you've modeled out the next 5 or 6 years, you have no FSD revenue recognition in that model. That's going to change, and it's going to be a drastic earnings beats expansion. So that's why you're seeing catch a bid. It's very similar to like, I don't think it's going to run up too much. Like I could see it touching 300. I really don't see him blowing off the top at 320, 330 until they report again because similar issue as Palantir. When Palantir that had that first quarter of like commercial growth, like holy moly, like is this an inflection period or is this like a one-off? It went up like a ton, but it consolidated until they proved it back-to-back quarters. Like inflection period, come on, hop on board before it's too late. I think Tesla's kind of going to have to do a similar kind of follow up, and the price action is going to reflect that next couple months. So I think it's basing until they report again, maybe like hovering around 300, honestly, psychological level 300. But I'm hoping it's an inflection period. I'm underwriting that, but regardless, FSD revenue is coming in, and that's coming in at 90% gross margins. That's going to be a game changer in the fundamental profile of Tesla at the same time as Fed is on our side. So consumer spending will pick back up in the EV industry. That's Tesla's bread and butter past in their history. It's a great time. Multiple tailwinds are coming at the same time for Tesla entering 2025. And I think there's a lot of FOMO behavior because there's a couple companies that are worth $3 trillion. Tesla's not even worth $1 trillion yet. There's a ton of runway.
I couldn't agree more, dude. And I think it's also, I love the whole thing here with Tesla and what you get. I was just about to put that on the screen. Like, dude, you remember how many when we were on a damn stream, I want to say, when we were adding 140s, right? Like, and everyone was just talking shit, talking about stupid. Oh man, what? They're not going to make it. Their car come. All this stupid FUD, this stupid nonsense. You know this. I know this. If you guys don't know, kind of the, I guess, quote, ethos of what we try to do is like, we're willing to take a little more risk to be first. And if you look at the last couple picks that are up over 100%, which are Tesla, IONQ, Rocket Lab, JMIA ran 300%, right? Came down, but still, we're just giving them to you one after the other. You got to be able to cut through the noise, and you got to be able to stand on conviction to just have some sort of vision of the future. I don't know if you follow any of that third horizon strategy, right? But like it's a bit of strategy in business. I know corporations use it a lot, but effectively you got to be that one guy that has laser focus to the end point. You can't get caught with a wide field of vision. I think the same applies at micro to independent picks. When you're looking at a stock and you don't know whether or not it's the right opportunity, then you need to find someone who can do the research to tell you that. But part of it is also being able to see through the noise and understand that there's growth here by understanding the way in which we're going to evolve as people, which will then translate into the way we do business. Again, if you look at the FSD model, it's simple. It's like autonomous cars are coming. It's just the tech is here. It's coming. Who's going to be selling and packaging that data nonstop? One guy. It asked a question. Is there a deadline for your inner circle? We were originally only going to open it up to 10 students, but due to demand, we had to kind of make some adjustments. And we found a way to still do it at the quality we're happy with while also including more people.
Yeah, I'll give you some perspective on this. I wanted a really tight-knit group, 10 people. And I realized after I made the post, like I'm launching Inner Circle, I'm only doing 10 people. We had 230 people on the wait list after like that announcement. I was like, I had some self-reflection. I talked to Austin, the team, and my fiance. I was like, am I being too selfish only doing this for 10 people? And I was leaning towards me. I think I was, because like I feel like I'm hurt. Like if you guys want to hear participate in the Inner Circle, join the weekly Zoom calls every Saturday and like really learn and grow as an investor. Like if I do snippets of that, I think that's like why I'm holding back potential growth and other investors. Like that's selfish, I think, of me. So that's why I was like, I'm opening the doors and come on through, and we're gonna test it out, see how it goes on the Zoom calls. And that's really the best place to kind of pick my brain. And you guys ask your questions and I help you. Like there's gonna be screen sharings. There's gonna be like, you're gonna see my model that is 160 stocks long, covered, fundamentals, technicals, and like my model 3-year price targets, like all that stuff. Like hopefully I'm going to be teaching you guys like how to come up with that yourself, but like also seeing like my mentality about how I view stocks. Like I think that's a really interesting way of learning to become an investor like yourselves. My whole goal for Inner Circle is not for you guys to be participants the whole time. Like I want you to be participants as a student to feel confident enough to become the beast that you can be. And that's like my goal, like for literally to teach you through middle school before you go to high school, or high school to college, whatever it might be. Like that is the goal. So just trying to teach you guys the tools that I took 10 plus years learning on the corporate side and on the retail side into one package.
Bang, bang. Goddamn right. It's a dream team, baby. Get some of that. All right. So there you have for Tesla. I would say like let's get into it, guys. As I do a quick JMIA, just to give you a little update, because that's one I've gotten a lot of DMs about. I want you guys to drop your tickers in the chat. If you're on Twitter, just reply to the post. You can leave a comment on the actual live stream. That's best case scenario. Drop the tickers in the chat. I know a few of you already have. I will go back to those, but one ticker per comment, so I can put it up on the screen, which will also give you a little bit of juice. You want to grow on Twitter, you'll be seen by 7,000 people, so you're welcome. Yeah, so here's JMIA. Let's look at this chart right quick. We're trading in this. We're trading in this consolidation channel, and I like that we're sticking in here. This is a good thing for us long term. So again, we took this one from like $3. It went to 16, just about 15 and change. So we took 300%, 3x'd it. Right now we're trading right in this wedge, which I want to see it just continually trade up in this wedge. That's where it belongs. Our long-term options trade's already paying on this. Our equity trade is already very green. We have a nice cushion of margin on that trade, so we can take a little bit of extra risk here. I'm liking it so far. I mean, try not to get too into this one. I'd say like you have like a 30 seconds. Anything change? Just let me ask this: has anything changed that has shaken your belief here?
It hasn't changed, but I think management's lack of clarity is worrisome on that offering they did, where I'm just assuming what they're going to do by reading the lines here in the interviews. they haven't really given us a game plan on like what they're using with that funds they raised, like dilute the share with 20%. So like, I'm not saying that's a red flag, but management is almost everything in a small cap stock. And I kind of need to see a detailed plan in the next 2 quarters for me to trust them, because they did that really poorly, in my opinion, after an earnings print. So either way, worst case scenario, I do think this name has a high floor because solvency risk is minimal. I think the worst case, they will get acquired by someone who wants the geographical resources that JMIA has already built that they can't really just try to duplicate, because the capex will be significantly more than just acquiring the company itself. So I do think, I appreciate you, Alejandro. So I do think like JMIA, you guys saw the rise to 12 or 13 bucks or 15. Like, it's just a 5+ year investment. Like, I think
There's another winner you got in there. AEHR, not as big, but still a winner. Oh, did he freeze? Son of a bitch.
No, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, Air Test Systems. So Air Test Systems had a really, really tough day. And that's because of their biggest customer on semiconductor had a pretty bad earnings this morning. So that just caused Air Test Systems as a sympathy to on just pull back. But I think the market's completely misunderstanding the data center and AI play in Air Test Systems, not just EV anymore. Their product is applicable across multiple industries, and I think you're going to start seeing that price move based on the realization the market's like, oh, whoa, the customer concentration risk are going to start diminishing because they're exposing themselves in different industries now.
Yeah, dude, we got a few that are just booming. All right, let's get into it. Smash or pass. You drop your tickers in the chat. You drop them in there. We cover them and tell you in a quick 2-3 seconds whether we're in or out. Do we go long or not? I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to submit a ticker. If yours gets skipped, come back next week. We will get to you. And just comment missed next week so we know. Now, we'll start with Mr. Bergman here. Robinhood, I'm going to tell you right now, we're up over 1,000% in options. We're up way over 100% in equity. This is traded exactly as anticipated with a ceiling here of 33. That was kind of our long-term target. First target being 16. We entered this position at $8, went to 16, obviously. Now it's up at 28 and cooking. Robinhood rolling out some of the features, the election betting, some of that stuff. I think it's just continued press. It's continued development. Their Legends platform comes out soon. Nothing but upside, in my opinion, for this name long term. Shay, any thoughts?
They're not just a brokerage.
Not
they
anymore.
are attacking retail across multiple industries, and that TAM, they can expand it drastically for every kind of product launch that they like. The election one, betting on election, TAM expansion without doing much R&D, or not R&D, more CapEx or OpEx. Like, they're just anything you can trade or bet on, I think might be consolidated in the Robinhood platform. And that's a massive TAM opportunity. Everything but sports betting.
Yep. All right, moving on. SOFI. Again, we broke you down the technicals of this chart. I had a few people complain to me about this. Like, why didn't you like it? Look at that range. I gave you the range. Over 750. This is going to 1036. I just said I don't have much interest until they reposition their business because they've failed on a number of angles. But the technical trade was there. We gave it to you live on the stream. Again, I think Robinhood is doing what they could have, or at least segments of it. So I'm going to tell you right now that SoFi for me does get a smash as we break 1030. It's a breakout trade for upside. Again, that's ignoring the fundamentals and everything else. It's just my thoughts on it right now. I see that's mentioned a few times. Mustafa also mentioned it.
No, it's you guys have been waiting years for this breakout. Don't you dare sell. It's breaking out.
Yep. Intel will give you a quick one, but that's one I think we're going to be covering a little more in depth on the inner circle sessions, because I also have a few theories on this one that I think could position it for upside that are sneaky, but I think they'll work. It's a pass for me until we get above 25, and then we head back to 30. And again, I do think there's a long-term long opportunity developing here, and I think these buyers that bought through September and October are aware of it. And we're going to break that down again. That's on the Saturday session. If you want to get in that inner circle session, hit us up on DM, Stocks Heavy Shy, or our account, Penny Boys, and we'll give you that info so you can get in there and get locked in. I also dropped it in the comments for those of you on YouTube. Feel free to scroll up and grab it from there. Huge win. Snap, very interesting. This one is just brutal, and you guys know that Shay worked there for a period of time and basically told you that their inefficiency is unparalleled. So they got one guy controlling the ticket, and I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. So that's going to be a pass for me. But technically speaking, this setup is interesting. Either it holds here and you get more upside to a 40% move, or it comes down to 885. That's a buy because that's a clear support base. And then you trade back up to 16, double your money. So it would get a smash in those conditions. Otherwise,
I mean,
pass.
Real quick on this, there is no reason this shouldn't be a 30% free cash flow margin business. At the maturation it's at as product, it's at 2%. It's the highest it's ever been is 5%. Again, Evan doesn't give a rat's ass on profitability. He doesn't care to. So don't hurt yourself by owning Snap.
All right, that's it. I told Rags because they had a few questions. I said hit that Saturday session. I'm sure you'll probably cover both of those because those are right in your wheelhouse, Maley and D-Dog. So for now, Snow, just part of service now. He's heavy on Snow.
These are the exact questions you would ask me video camera, and then I'd show you my model why I believe this certain way. And also, it's just like the Q&A aspect. I love these questions. I wish I could dig into it now, but that's the beauty of it. And also, I love all this knowledge is in my head right now. So like, I just love outsourcing it so you guys don't have to do the research yourself.
Just give you a quick levels update because it does matter. We're in no man's land, right? So we want to see north of 108 and we want to see north of 126 because then we get upside to 145. That's the long trade we're playing for here. We're getting a little consolidation, which is good. We need to see more buyers show up. We need to see volume and accumulation right at about 115, 120. Until we do, this thing's going to be stuck. So keep that in mind. All right, let me see what else you guys dropped. Nice. I don't know if it's id or eid. I can't wait to see you in there, man. Good stuff. Okay, ALB, albacore tuna. I'm just kidding. It's Albemarle. I don't even know what this is. I think I've said that before.
It's a commodity play, essentially. At the end of the day, I know lithium isn't really a commodity. It's just if you're bullish on lithium, ALB, but it's handicapped to lithium prices.
Yeah, look at that though. Actually, I would say bottom of range. That's pretty interesting. Honestly, I'd smash it above 90. Above 90, I'd smash it because your downside then is going to be 60 and change.
They're suffering because they're not free cash flow positive anymore. I think they have to return to those days in order to
the commodities pricing element is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's such a headache to own a stock like this.
All right, let's keep going. These nuts. What's up, baby? FUBO TV.
Not real business.
Yeah, it's not. I signed up for the free trial and instantly canceled. I think it's nonsense. Now, I will say, for those of you that are out there in Pennyland looking for a fun trade, this is a fun one to trade. Just don't ever get caught holding the bag. I'm going to give you a little bit of a small cap juice here. Here's exactly how this one's going to trade every time because it does it every time. If you can get it at 139, you can dump it at 2. I would drop it below 139. And if it continues to run and break out, it's going to go to 270 because that's what it does. And then if it holds 240, it could keep going up. This is a great one to just trade the levels. It's been oversold a bit. Hasn't traded up in a while. So this is like a great opportunity. Buy at 139 with a firm stop in place. That's how I'd trade this. And then I would set my targets at like $2, $2.20, and I would auto sell. This is not a long hold. I wouldn't pay attention to it long term. It is simply a trade opportunity. NVTS. This is one of our lotto picks we threw out there. Navitas, and it's actually green. I don't know if you remember on our Friday exclusive, the Penny Boy stream on Fridays. This was an exclusive trade we threw out. We got in at
11% today. Yeah.
Yeah, we got in at like 240, 250, and we're already cooking.
This is going to be a triple easily if it survives. Which I think it's going to. I think it's just completely misunderstood.
Well, we got it in there. We're already in it, already holding it, and already green. OKLO. God, we're pounding through them. I'm impressed with us. Look at us. Whoa, what the hell is this?
It's nuclear energy, SMRs. with a nuclear. So I want to give you guys. I'm super bullish on nuclear now. Super. I did spend past like couple weeks researching it. I see it. I know which company I want to add as part of my growth portfolio. I'm just waiting for the pullback. Why am I waiting? Nothing fundamentally impactful what happened from nuclear until at least 2030. Everything is just getting front ran, but no real fundamental like revenue recognition or margin expansion or whatnot. That won't happen for at least 5 years. So because of that, the velocity of this bid, there will be a drastic pullback.
Doesn't look at that sell side already. Look at that. You already see it. It's already getting washed out. Now it has a little bit of a run here, but it's getting washed out.
And
this
and
is
the pullback
exactly
you add though.
Yeah, like so again, not to keep going back to that, but you guys are asking all the right questions. Like this is exactly what we're talking about that we'll be coaching and covering in the inner circle. It's like, how do we trade nuclear and actually be ahead of the curve and make money? It's exactly what we're going to be doing. So again, if you want into the inner circle, shoot a DM to Stock Savvy Shy or me over on the Penny Boys account. If you're watching live, you can do that right on Twitter, or just comment on another post that you want the info, and we'll get it to you. ASPI. Oh no. Whoa. I don't know what this is. ASP isotopes. This chart makes me feel a little something.
I mean, this chart is looking at it. If it clears $6, it's gonna fly.
It's going to 9. Over 6 is going to 9, 100%. So I would say that's a breakout smash. Over 6 going to 9. Momo trade only. American Airlines, trash airline. I'll just tell you that right now. I had the disservice of flying American recently, and as much as United pisses me off, it's a better experience. Delta being obviously better than both. Yeah, this looks brutal. Yeah, honestly, I don't care about airlines. Pass. Way better opportunities. Papa John's, Papa Jizzy's. Where on the chart did he make the racist comment? I would love to know. Like, was that reflected in the price? Didn't he make a heinous racial comment?
Awful.
I wonder when that was. If anybody can find that, throw that in the chat. I'd love that. I'd love to see that. Oh, we got some engagement today. Y'all have some picks. I'm excited to see some of you in that Saturday session.
Oh, wow. I just looked up for the first time. We have 8,000.
Yeah, we got 8,000 people watching this right now.
Whoa.
I'm long us right now. I don't know about you. I'm buying leaps. I like it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I want to know the Papa John's racist thing. Okay, wait, hold on. July 2018. Pookie, of course you found that quickly. Was it maybe December? Oh, July. Yeah, there it is. Sell off, dude, from 53 down to 37. That's June 11. Rags, my God. Rags, you get a special. You're gonna get a special something. So on the Discord, shoot a DM to Big Quench for finding that. Pookie doesn't count because he works here. Send me a DM. Send a Big Quench DM. Once you get in Shai's inner circle, because I know you asked for the link, get in there, get in the Discord, and shoot me a message. I'm going to give you a little special something for finding that. Thank you. Thank you so much. RXRX, so passing Papa John's. It's stupid, and he sucks. Their pizza's not good either.
I love recursion. Long term.
Okay, thank you. Because I've been long here by myself for a long while now.
No, their merger with EXAI was like what got me really like up there. I was like, this is gonna be one of the best tech bio plays for the next decade. I think once the sentiment changes on any big merger, it takes a digestive period. Digestive period. That's what RXRX is going through right now. Like I was like an equal, essentially equals, a merger of equals, and it's going through some like onboarding or synergizing issues. Either way, it's my favorite small caps out there, and I'm a bull long term. Like I love this company. It's so freaking cool. And the CEO is the type of CEO I trust and I want on like this kind of tech bio company. Like Chris is awesome. And that whole company is awesome. Actually, the IR team's awesome as well. So I'm a big Recursion fan for sure.
I got to look it up right now. I was wondering what my cost basis was because I was red here for a little bit. Damn, that portfolio is about to hit 100 from 30 grand, dude. My retirement account, my like one little one that I manage on my own,
Let's
from
go.
31,000 to 91,000 in 2 years with extremely sensible choices. Like I actually treated this like a retirement account. It's up 200%. Nice. Hell yes. Also, all picks that were posted in the Discord, mind you. All these portfolios I manage, I post all the updates. Dude, tell me you can see that. 2,235% on NVIDIA. Get some, dude. So that accounts for like 20,000 of it, just FYI. So realistically, you take that out, it's up like 150% because that's an outlier. Where's RXRX? Okay, I'm down 16%, so it's not that bad. I thought it was more. But cool. All right, we got a couple more minutes. I'm gonna try to pound through these again. If you didn't get covered today, if someone didn't pick your comment, come back next week and just type missed when we do Smash Your Path. I'll go to you first. It's trading at 76. So Roku's simple. Trend line, consolidation, volumes weak. If you don't see this above like honestly $94, like there's no upside. And honestly, this premium you saw on this Christmas tree, this was nonsensical. They're not executing the way they need to. Like they could have an interactive video ad platform, much like Amazon Prime's doing, except they could have scaled that across all of these. Like they could have built the network infrastructure, in my opinion, for all of these video service providers to then pitch little elements of what they're doing. But they failed. Why? Because they own the distribution. That's why they could have done it. They failed. Fail. But we did trade this. Where was it? 2019. We're solving COVID 60. We ran this from 60. Okay. I started selling at 450. I went short at 438. I'll never forget the number. I went short and I also bought $150 puts. 6,000%, dude. As this cratered from 430 whatever to 70, 6,000% on those Roku puts, dude. It was like the best day of my life.
I think it's because also back then they had a CTV angle. Those days are over, obviously, because they're not this. Some people were saying Roku was a better CTV play than Trade Desk. I couldn't believe my ears like 3 or 4 years ago when that was happening, but that was the case. And look at the price difference. TTD is hitting an all-time high. Roku is still down 90%.
Shout out Thomas Jackson. We love you. Glad you're here. Thanks, guys. Love this. It seems meaningless, but when you guys are like, hey, thanks, I like this, it feels great. And it tells us that we're talking about the right things that are actually helping you versus when everyone's silent, it's like, do you even care about this? Then let's wrap it with SAVA. SAVA Science is one of my favorites, addressing an untapped market with uncapped potential. The Alzheimer's market, they're currently going through clinical trials. I've talked about this one at length. I own this from a $2 cost basis. The first time we traded this, I sold at $137.33 from my $2 cost basis. I'm still holding a chunk of it. I sold about 60% of it, still holding about 40% of that position. It was brutal to watch that decline as it did. But again, I cashed out on 60% of it. So made my money 10 times over. Right now, the key level here is $22. Like it really just needs to stay there. This is going to be catalyst driven. If you're not tuned into the biotech market, then I would be very careful with a name like this because it's completely dependent on clinical trial outcome and positioning in the market overall. So that's it. Rocket Games, nice. That's a great average. Selling puts, likes it because it's 20-year lows. Look, just because it's at a year low, just because it's at a relative low, doesn't mean it's a good buy. Because the market fundamentally has changed. And we'll wrap up with this. People change, technology changes everything. The market changes as an after effect, a byproduct of those changes. So just because a name is like a staple, a household staple, like American Airlines, does not mean that that is the best allocation of my money in this moment, right? If I got another opportunity over here that has 10x potential with a fraction of the risk, Why do I want to be in American Airlines? I don't. There's other value plays that pay me a safer, more solid dividend than American Airlines will. So it's a pass. It's not like, hey, forget that company. It's just, hey, there's other opportunities that are going to make our money more money babies while we're at work. That's this whole thing. Disconnect your mind from time and money. Like, you need this to be making you money when you're not paying attention to it. So agreed. Great fundamentals. I'm not arguing with you that it's not a fundamental play. I'm just saying I think that there are better outcomes in other areas of the market with 10 times the growth potential, but the same factored in risk. So if you want exposure to airlines as a balance measure, absolutely. Then yeah, I'd say you're tied in. I'm not a big American Airlines guy personally. I'd prefer Delta or United over them. Southwest is trash. I said it. It's like Spirit Airlines Plus. I can't stand it. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let me add, like, Pookie brought up a good point. Narrative follows price action. Everyone hated CrowdStrike at $200. They love it at 300 after the outage. Both price actions happened after the outage. Same thing in Palantir. Palantir's business was nearly identical today than it was a year ago when it was trading at $12, $14. People called it just like a consultant black box, and now they're calling it the future enterprise AI winner. The only thing that changed was the price. Sentiment follows price action, and that's why Intel, like, I love, but when I see blood in the water, I love it. That's just my investing style because I see alpha. I can like tune out the noise and see clarity. That's like one of my strengths, and it takes a certain experience to do that. But don't base your decision based on like, oh, it's down 90%. Like, if it hits all-time highs again, like, I'll be at 10x. Look at Intel. That doesn't happen. Look at Beyond Meats. Look at there's just so many examples out there. Roku even, or FUBO. Like, don't do that. Every year is a new chapter in a business. Treat it that way.
Yeah. It's all relative. I love that. Last one, just because Nikhil, I literally added this today. I literally rebalanced some stuff. I took some NVIDIA profits because I have way too much NVIDIA. Just like that, I just have too much. And I rebalanced and actually added some VWO today. So smart man. You tapping my phone line. I literally was on the phone with my guy, my broker, because with my other retirement money. And I was on the phone with him today telling him we're going to expose more to VWO and some India emerging market stuff. So, yeah, good stuff, Nikhil. Smart man. I agree. So, yeah, as always, we love y'all. Thanks for coming. You guys are the best. Let's see if we can break 10K next week. That'd be a great goal. So we'll do some giveaways too. So share this out, tag both of our accounts, and we'll have the VAs go in there and pick from somebody that shares this out, retweets it, tag us in the retweet, quote retweet, and we'll pick some of you to do some giveaways. So love y'all. Stay blessed now. Bye-bye.